Michael Ebenezer, let me get the name right. Michael Ebenezer Kwejo Omari Owo Jr., popularly known as Stormzy, at the Brits Awards. Amazing performance, bringing us into 8:45 in the morning. Welcome back to the show. This is the AM Club on MX24 TV. Like we'd like to do it on Mondays, we don't take it easy. We go straight to talking to young people and letting them share their opinion on happenings, what's happening in the news. And this morning is no exception. I have Nana Osei JC. He's the founder and executive director of Ignite Youth Ghana. And I'll also be joined by Patrick Kusi Edu, USEC president, shortly. But starting off with Nana, I'll just keep it Nana.
Yeah, sure.
I know usually you're talking to MFR, so it's good to have you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing
looking very Ghanaian this morning.
Thank you very much. You're also looking very
Thank
Ghanaian.
you very much, my brother. Take a deep breath and let's get into the matters.
Yeah.
Anyways, lots happening in the news over the weekend. Let's talk about the important one today, Monday. Today we are playing Mozambique. Are you a football person?
Yeah, I'm a football person.
You like the Black Stars?
Yes, I do. It's just that the passion is, I'm reducing passion for them. Yeah.
You're not alone, my brother.
Yeah, because of their recent performances and all of that.
Charlie. So, what's your prediction this evening? Will you be watching the game?
Yes, I've been watching the game. I'm expecting, as long as Cape Verde was able to score Mozambique 3-0, I'm expecting that Ghana would be able to score them, like they say, 2-0.
Like Cape Verde beat us too.
Yes, they beat us too. Yes, but then we were able to score one, and then they beat them 3-0.
Okay.
So I'm expecting that Ghana will be able to beat them like 2-0 or something, so that we can be able to qualify.
Wow. We're hopeful, isn't it?
Yeah, we are keeping hopes alive.
Right. And let's get into the news headlines. What caught your attention this weekend?
Okay, so what caught my attention this weekend is the imposition of taxes on the electricity bills. And also the former president asking for us to give him a honeymoon period after he wins power.
Yes.
And also I'm looking at the IMF deal that Ghana has with the International Monetary Fund, and then the second rollout that they are about to credit into our account. So that's what caught my attention during. Okay,
what do we start? Let's start with the IMF.
Sure.
Shall we? So we know that definitely we are receiving the second tranche of the loan from the IMF, the $3 billion loan that we're getting from the IMF. We've seen fiscal improvement, haven't we? Even according to the IMF, given that they gave some instructions for the Ministry of Finance to follow, like, cutting expenditure and having fiscal discipline and all that. And we're seeing, are we seeing the progress? Would you say that we are seeing the progress?
Yeah. So far, there have been some progresses. Looking at, the difficulties that we went through early 2022, which led to the government concluding the IMF deal last year in May. And the conditions that they gave out, cutting expenditures and all of that, I think there have been some sort of improvement, even though it is not moving as expected. But then there have been some sort of improvement, which I think the government somehow is doing well.
The question on the lips of a lot of young people is always about, it's okay to receive these funds from these international agencies, but do we really utilize it for what it's supposed to? Do you think that the Ministry of Finance is doing what it has to do, and perhaps that's why we're seeing the so-called progress?
Well, with the issue of the International Monetary Fund, whenever they give out the loan or something, they come up with their policies, and then they make sure you comply with them. This is as a result of, we not getting the second rollout last year, November 1st, because, they gave us some policies that has to do with the central bank reforms, the socioeconomic reforms, and also the external creditors arrangements. Because the government couldn't meet this kind of criteria, that is why we couldn't receive the second rollout last year in November. So as long as they have been able to, put in measures, and then they have been able to, make some moves, and then the second rollout is out now. I think on the government side, we can credit the government for, this kind of movements and all of that.
There's a report I saw earlier from the IMF, and it says that, and I'll read a bit of it to you. It said IMF predicts 15% end-of-year inflation in 2024, 8.0% in 2025. The International Monetary Fund is predicting a 15% end-of-year inflation in 2024. It is also forecasting an 8.0% end-of-year inflation in 2025, 2026, and 2027. This means that the increasing price of goods and services will slow down this year and drastically in the next 3 years. The revelation was captured, of course, in the fund's latest document dubbed Ghana, Selected Economic and Financial indicators 2022 to 2028. Year-on-year inflation fell significantly by 30.4 percentage points in 2023 to 23.2% in December 2023, about a month ago. In January 2023, Ghana's inflation rate stood at 53.6%. According to the figures from the Ghana Statistical Service, food inflation drove down the overall inflation with a rate of 28.7% in December. So, yeah, basically, there are projections that we're going to see some good progress from 2024, this year, till 2027. That's the next 4 years. Whoever takes power in December 2024, is this year or 2025? January 2025,
yeah,
right?
January 2025.
Whoever wins the
Election
election
is this
takes,
year,
yeah, means that they're going to have some positive stuff to work with, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it will be fair because the former administration did the same. I mean, they went for the IMF loan, and then these people came to enjoy it. So as long as these were also going for it, and then hoping that the NDC will come to power next year, they will also, benefit from the loan that these people.
By former administration, you mean the NDC? That's Mahama's time.
Mahama's time.
Right,
yes.
Because they went to the IMF. You're saying that,
and then these people,
this one is
the benefit
justified.
of it. Yes.
So this one is justified as well.
Yeah, kind of justified.
You agree with, let's say, a government taking loans from the IMF?
Well, looking at it being the 17th time that we've been to the IMF, and also for the past 8 years, it's been, about 2 times or so. I don't subscribe to we going to IMF. Probably we can also explore other possibilities.
When?
Rather than, going to the IMF. But they only see the IMF as the only option for now. Because even with the issue of, they giving us the second rollout of the loan that we are going for, they were like, we should have some arrangements with our external creditors. And then the external creditors, we are looking at the Chinese, and then we are looking at the Paris Club. So it means that we have explored other possibilities, and because it's not working, that's how comes, they saw the IMF as the last option to go for.
I wish Kusi was here to hear what he has to say about this.
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe you'll join us later, but I don't want to stay too much on the IMF. If we receive $600 million, have we received it or we're yet to?
We are yet to.
We're yet to receive it because he spoke on Friday saying that we're going to get the $600 million.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens
from
there. But let's go to the elephant in the room, which I believe is the biggest one now. 15% VAT imposition on domestic power consumption exceeding lifeline limit. The leader of the TUC, Dr. Yalba, has been speaking on this, and he's absolutely against it. What do you have to say?
Okay, so first of all, I want us to, get back to 2013 when they promulgated this law. In accordance with the Section 35 and then 37 of the Value Added Tax Act. That's
2013, right?
2013, yes, okay. The Act 870. Yes, so the government promulgated this law, but it was not implemented in 2013 because as of 2013, the government didn't see the need to promulgate this particular law. So it is this year, early this year, that they have imposed the 15% VAT on people who use power consumption domestically. But my concern has to do with the fact that I think it will slow investors because already we have NHIS levy on ECG bill, and then we also have that of the COVID-19 levy, and then we also have, we have other levies that are already imposed on it. So even though it's part of the COVID-19 recovery program, but I also think in a way it will slow people because, looking at the last 4 years, we've been, imposing a whole lot of taxes, and then people were asking where this money goes. We had, a recent one that has to do with the e-levy, and then we didn't see how, the government was able to utilize it and all of that. So imposing other taxes on, tariffs too is really a challenge, especially, looking at, our minimum income in Ghana here, and then imposing 15%. Already there have been like about 29% increment recently. So imposing additional 15%, I think, is really a challenge. Yeah.
Why are we still paying COVID levy on electricity?
We are still paying it because to them they still think that we are still, they have a recovery program, and then they think they have to generate some income in order to solicit for that.
2-3 years?
Yeah, 2-3 years. They are still. And the main reason why they're even imposing this additional 15% is because of the COVID-19 recovery program. Yes, even after 2-3 years.
I don't quite get that. The reason why we're imposing the 15% VAT on lifeline consumers for electricity is because of the COVID levy?
Yeah, because of the recovery program that they have. Because, I mean...
But there's the COVID levy already on it, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a COVID levy already on it. Yes, and then they are posing an additional 15%. Yes, because, you know, during COVID era, they gave out free electricity and then free water and all of that. So I think the government have incurred so much expenses or so much loss. So they just want to, I mean, raise funds in order to solicit for this particular losses that the government has incurred.
Because Dr. Yalban says that the lifeline that they are talking about is just 30 kilowatts. Kilowatts. It used to be 50 kilowatts. So we've removed it from 50 kilowatts to 30 kilowatts, and we're still putting 15%
on it.
VAT on it. That's not fair.
Yeah, really not fair.
For
not
for the average Ghanaian and what we are going through.
And I was also stressing is because of the IMF loan that we are going for. He also stressed
so the IMF is insisting that
because there of course for them
certain revenue mobilization need to be put in place,
including
this.
Yes.
I do think that the current administration is lacking ideas when it comes to revenue mobilization.
Yeah, the IMF, all that they are looking for is socio-economic reforms. So with the socio-economic reforms, you as a country have to decide how you are going to mobilize this kind of revenue. Because already we have an outstanding debt of 10.5 billion with China and then Paris. Like I said, that was the main reason why the loan even delayed. The second rollout delayed as at November 1st, and then it's coming in this year. So these are some of the things that the IMF is looking at. They are looking at even giving out the loan, how you can be able to mobilize revenue or generate revenue to be able to pay back. So these are some of the conditions that are attached to it.
So do you ascribe to this? Do you ascribe to the decisions that the Ministry of Finance and the government are taking, including this one?
Well, I do not. I do not. Because it is rather imposing so much burden on the people. And then I think we've had enough of, we've seen taxes here and there all the time. The government is taxing, but yes, still, we are not seeing any kind of improvement. And then we are not kind of, we are not kind of really experiencing, the kind of improvements that we really want as a people. So I have a challenge with, they continue taxing, but yet we are not seeing any kind of development with the tax. Yes, ma'am.
I've heard a few leaders and authorities say that we only sit and talk about problems without preferring solutions. So for you, if they were not supposed to put this 15% VAT on electricity, where would you rather they tax us?
Okay, so I would not consider taxing, but I would look at some constitutional reforms. Over and over again, we keep complaining about the Article 71 holders. Some emoluments and then some payments that we make to people who falls within the Article 71. So we are calling for, the reduction in government size. And we are also calling for, the ministers to be reduced. The number of ministers to also reduce. So there are so many avenues that the government can explore in order to raise funds to be able to solicit or to take care of this IMF loan and all of that, rather than always imposing the burden on the people. Because at the end of the day, it is the ordinary Ghanaian that suffers when, the taxes go high and all of that. So I have a challenge. I think there are other possibilities rather than, imposing so much taxes on the people.
At least you have an idea of what you think the government should do. And to sit down on our own to think, okay, this is what we think the government should do, this is what we think the government should do. In your own opinion, as an executive director of Ignite Youth Ghana, which is, I believe, you're a youth advocate, how do you think young people can come together to call for such reforms like you're asking?
Okay, so young people, even though the Constitution gives us the right or the power to, all that we can do is to demonstrate, or maybe to protest or call for this reform.
But demonstrations don't bring changes. So.
Yes, at the end of the day, it is the government.
Do you agree? Demonstrations don't bring changes.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. That's how comes. 7 January this year. We had a discussion on the constitutional amendments, because at the end of the day, everything starts and ends with leadership. Because no matter how we call for a reform and all of that, we still have the political elite. They have to decide. So I think the whole thing has to do with, even though the people will talk, the people will demonstrate, the people will call out for some of these reforms and all of that. But at the end of the day, we have this political elite, or we have these people who are at the decision-making table. they have to decide on what to do. I mean, just like, I mean, I think 2022 or something, some people were calling for the finance minister to be ousted because of the economic situation we had at then. But I mean, what did we see? We didn't see any kind of improvement, even though there was a vote of censure and all of that. Yesterday, finance minister wasn't removed. So at the end of the day, no matter how we call for a reform or we call for a change, it is up to the political elite for them to decide on what to do.
I like that you brought that up. There are still calls for the finance minister to resign.
Yeah, but now we are not hearing it like before, because no matter how we call for it, still we are not seeing any kind of move and any improvement. So we just relax. We're just hoping that 2024 December 7th will just come and then we will vote and then.
That goes along with to tell us that we have no voice. Yeah. Isn't it? It's sad, isn't it? I like the way you're just responding because it's almost like we don't have a choice, Charlie. This is the life.
We just have to accept it.
These are the cards that have been dealt us, so let's just go with it, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you look at our constitutional framework too, if you look at the provisions in Article 1.1, you realize that it is a representative government because the sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, and the governmental powers are exercised in the name and in the welfare of the people. But at the end of the day, what do we see? Even though the sovereignty is in the people of Ghana, but yes, still, when it comes to decision making and all of this, we still don't hear the voices of the people. And at the end of the day, it's still this political elite who are, deciding on policies and all of that. So it's sad. It left us no choice than, to just cope with it and hope that this year will just end and then we just move to next year, swearing of a new president, hoping that there will be some changes and all of that.
The picture you painted for me and the picture I'm getting is that we are quote-unquote powerless until December 7th.
Oh, yes.
Every 4 years.
Yes.
That's the only time
that's when
we can bring change to our country.
Yes.
But that's not, but that's rather unfortunate.
Yes.
What do you make of advocacy? Because I know that you run the United Youth Ghana again. What do you make of advocacy?
Okay, so with advocacy, it's just like, Ghana has practiced like over 30 years constitutional democracy. Yes, because so some of the advocacy that we make is, calling for constitutional amendment. Even though we don't subscribe to, changing the entire constitution, because changing the entire constitution would mean that, we are calling for a fifth republic, but we are calling for constitutional amendment. And constitutional amendment is possible because if you look at the provisions in Article 6 to Article 8, there have been some amendment with regards to citizenship. So we are calling for, certain provisions. Even though Article 78 calls for the president to appoint ministers, but then it does not decide or limit the number of ministers that the president can be able to appoint. So we are calling for amendment to certain provisions. We think that when there is some constitutional amendment or there are amendments to certain provisions, some of this problem can be solved and all of that. So like I said, it's all, and one thing is that everything that they are doing, it's like they have constitutional backings. Because at the end of the day, it is the constitution that gives the president or even parliament the power to make such laws and all of that. This imposition of tax that we are talking about, the 15% that we are talking about, it has a statutory backing. So if, let's say for instance, we are able to limit the powers of government and also in a way give the people voice and all of that, I think in a way we can be able to solve some of this problem in our country.
Don't you see, we've been calling for this political amendment, this constitutional amendment. It didn't start today. We've been calling aspects of it should be considered and all that. I've had various opinion leaders, mention this about us reforming or amending some parts of our constitution, but nothing. Nothing. On January 7, let me take you back a bit. And on January 7, we know what happened in this country. Even for, I don't know what I should call them, a political party or pressure group, but the New Force people try to have their own convention, and we saw how there was a power from the top seizing everything. Some explanations have come. A lot of us have said that it's not justifiable. Really, what steps can we take to make sure that the people at the top hear us and move to be it as it were, start the process of this amendment?
So, like I said earlier, it is a representative government. And then it all begins with the only people that we have direct access to are our members of parliament, because we live with them in the constituency. So if we can do away with something like, secret balloting, whereby, I mean, anytime they are voting or they want to pass a law or something, I mean, they do it secretly. And then we are able to know the people who voted for a particular bill or law to be passed or something. I think in a way, it can help in a way. So let's say, for instance, we can start with our members of parliament, because since they represent our interest and all of that, we can start with them, that before maybe we vote for them or something, we can decide to have some sort of agreement with them, so that we tell them what we want and all of that. I mean, something that will be something that, I mean, the whole of Ghana, we want. So when they get to parliament, I mean, we stand on them, or we be on them for them to, I mean, do this kind of advocacy in parliament for us. So I think maybe for now, like I said, we seem to have a direct access with our members of parliament, and then they constitute government. So I think we can start from there, and then we move on from there.
I mean, we, okay, so ultimately, we are not paying that 50% VAT. It has not been implemented, has it?
Yeah.
It's just a proposition?
Yeah. Yes, it's just a proposition that the government has made. Even though the law has already been promulgated, it's just that it has not been implemented.
So then there's no need.
But this people, I don't
So it means that it can be implemented. All they have to do is to just go ahead and implement it.
And just do it.
But we can't do anything about it, like you said. The picture you painted is a picture of...
We just accept it as it is.
So we should just pay it.
Yeah,
I see.
We just accept it as it is.
Okay, you're watching the AM Club on MX24 TV. We're having our Lifestyle Daily segment, and we're discussing the newspaper headlines. We've spoken about the $600 million tranche, second tranche from the IMF to Ghana, as mentioned by the finance minister. And then, of course, TUC, the Trade Union Congress, rejecting 15% VAT imposition on domestic power consumption exceeding lifeline limit. We did mention that we're going to have Kusi earlier, but rather we've been joined by Hakeem. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing well.
I love the fugu this morning.
Charlie.
Pressure, eh?
No easy.
It go big. It go big. Anyways, I mean, the conversation has progressed, but just want to touch a bit on what we've discussed. In your opinion, let's start with the IMF, second tranche of loan from the IMF.
Anyway, good morning once again, and good morning to your listeners. Sorry for coming in kind of late. Condition beyond measures anyway.
It's okay.
Well, I'll start with the IMF. I think that, first off, it shouldn't be something we should celebrate it. We shouldn't even publish it. It's actually a shame. Let's be sincere. Because Ghana is how many years old? 60 plus. If Ghana was actually a civil servant, Ghana would be on pension.
Retirement.
And if Ghana was a Supreme Court judge, Ghana will be having about few years to go on retirement. So Ghana is actually a grown man or grown woman, any gender you want to choose. And then we are happy that a finance minister has been able to negotiate IMF bill, and we are all happy. IMF bill is coming, and it looks like a manna is falling from heaven. As a student, I think that there's something wrong. I think there's something wrong. And then it's not funny. Because IMF bailout come with conditionalities. When I remember the last IMF bailout, if I can remember, somewhere 2015, 2016, there was a restriction on employment. There was restriction on, certain category of employment. You cannot spend through particular way. Social interventions were cut off and all that. Now, IMF bill comes out, and it comes with other conditionalities. And we are happy about it. I feel there is something wrong.
The conditionality, the problem, or the bailout, the problem? Because if I'm giving you money, if I'm loaning you money, I want to make sure that you can pay me back. So I want you to put certain things in place so that I can get my money back.
If I'm your friend, and every time I come to you for 16 times, that, oh, yo, senior, can you sort me out 16 times? What are you going to tell me? You tell me I'm not serious. I don't budget well, I don't spend well. You see, when we do the old things and we expect new results, no, that shouldn't be the thing. Like, let us be very practical. As a student, I know that if last-minute learning will not help me, it doesn't give me the good results. And the new semester, I said that I'll do last-minute learning. It will still come the same way. But if we believe that, looking at how things are going to go, we have to cut our spending we have to actually invest in, let's say, domestic products. You have to agree that some restrictions should come on how certain products should be spent. Government side should be reduced and all this. I believe that this is going to help us go a long way. Let's look at this particular government, their first tenure, with the 125 ministers, regional minister and a deputy. When you look at our architecture itself, a regional minister cannot even actually enact any laws. Because when you even enact a law for the region, it has to come through the local assemblies, have to pass bylaws. We saw what Henry Kwoti wanted to do for Accra. Until the chief executive passed the bylaws in their respective. So basically, the regional minister and deputy basically are just like some few.
Symbolic.
Exactly. You understand?
Yeah.
Now you have chief directors. You have the regional coordinating council that have people that are running it already and all that. The government side was too much. You look at road, transport, railway, aviation, different ministers. If we are able to know that, our monies cannot sustain us. Roads, railway, transport, aviation, these are all transports. Transport ministry can be there. Roads and highway could be there. Now we have even authority, we have road, highway authority, feeder roads, all these ones. It's just a replication.
Yeah, but we've seen previous governments
roads.
merge and then, separate and then merge and then separate these ministries. Perhaps there's a reason for that.
I believe that Ghana doesn't have a policy guidelines for our country. That's what's happening. Because if we know that within the next 5 years, a government that you are going to come in, this is our developmental plan, carve your, manifesto around this and ensure that by this time, this is what we should achieve. I think that we should have gone a long way, but everybody comes in or play or let me play it. At the end of the day, I'll go to IMF. So it means that we don't have any managers in the country because at the end, let me just spend the money when the money is finished, IMF. What are we doing? I believe that the finance minister, as we have, was working in corporate world, data bank and other businesses, and he was flourishing. So is it that when people come into ministries, they don't prosper, but when the corporate world, they prosper? Because I know that data bank is one of the, I don't know, but I think it was doing well.
Yeah, it's still doing well.
Enterprise level is still doing well. So if you are doing well in your personal capacity and you come to Ghana and, as a Ghana minister and your end result is to go to IMF, then I'm sorry. Then Ghana...
I mean, I understand your sentiment, but it feels like we've moved past this conversation of whether or not, the IMF was a good deal or not. We just know that at this point, there was a global crisis.
Yeah.
As the government has strongly stated that there was a global crisis, we needed some bailout. The IMF came through, they negotiated, the IMF came through.
Which are the global crises?
Oh,
COVID.
Yes, please.
Ukraine, Russia.
Yes, please.
We add
And
Israel.
Hamas.
I mean, definitely, because they did say, reports today, even on the BBC, did say that the ongoing crisis in Israel and Hamas is affecting
the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it didn't happen only
It's
in Ghana.
causing...
all over.
It happened everywhere. We agree. It happened.
But we seem to be affected more than even the countries
How?
that are in
Why?
dispute.
Exactly, that's the question. Why?
And
How many people died during COVID in Ghana?
I don't remember the numbers
Okay.
now, but
So how many businesses collapsed in Ghana?
I still remember the numbers.
Okay. But we have COVID recovery levy.
yeah, we do.
How about that?
Backup in case.
So if the backup, so the question is that you have a backup. Backup is that in case your subsidies deplete, that's what you go for. Now the backup didn't work. You have to go to IMF. I'm just trying to say I'm not just enthused about it.
And even with the IMF, we didn't just go straight to IMF. We explored E-levy first. And then that one didn't work out before we look at the
So
possibility
you
of
see
going to
the reason
IMF.
I'm trying to say we don't have
So the
good
managers of the
managers.
economy are
We
not,
don't have managers
are not
because
capable.
when E-levy was coming, they told us E-levy will make us employ 1 million youths. Because he's saying, now the next topic you are coming to talk about is 15% on ECG. Christ.
In fact, it's a good time to bring it up. And he has already spoken about it. Are you willing to pay 15% more on electricity?
I wish.
I mean,
we
something that we just
I wish
deduct.
we can flog some people.
You got what?
We can flog some people. You can't say Kane. Kane is too. You have to flog them. Because let us be analytical. You pay taxes, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. You pay your tax. When you go to any mall to go and buy, you pay NHIO levy, value added tax.
Get fund.
When you take Uber, you pay. If you're also driving and you buy fuel, you pay.
It's tax on everything, yes.
And now ECG, that's the only, even the ECG is not even working. The only one we can use to enjoy small one too. Though Ghana is not performing, we are not surprised. We are expecting them to come back home, but we'll be watching the rest of the AFCON.
I didn't see that one coming.
We'll be watching the AFCON, the rest of the matches, and then we have to pay 50%.
Please, when will you be watching it? I don't know. Okay. I mean, on TV, so let's not say it. Yes. I understand,
You see,
yeah.
when we look at it this way, the 50% is not a good deal. Because it looks like now, let everybody understand. If I go and buy electricity, 100 Ghana cedis, means I'm going to get somewhere 98 Ghana cedis.
Roughly. 15%, yeah.
Yes, somewhere 98. And look, mind you, aside the 50% levy, the other things that will
95,
come.
there are other things on it, yeah.
Yeah,
So not 98. Let's say you're getting like 80. Did you say 98?
yeah.
No, 80.
So
85.
85 for the 15%. And
So
then
before you
for the
just
other things,
enter,
let's say
they
80.
collect them. So it looks like the managers of the economy are finding ways to be like a cry. This is like no grief for anybody.
And they do it in such a way that you don't even have an option whether to pay or not.
Or not, I mean, come on. It's
And you
it's
see-
imposed on it, so you can't.
You see, the painful thing is, if the 15% will solve our problem, we wouldn't have complained that much. See, I promise you, it will not solve the problem. E-levy didn't solve problem. IMF didn't solve. Haircut. Did you get a haircut? Afro or punk cut?
They are still calling for
Yeah.
40%.
People are still collecting back bush, haircut. It still didn't work.
No,
So
but
if you add 50%, it will still not work. You see, when we are in a country
It's
whereby
interesting because they've reported an increase, 75% increase in government treasury bills and all that.
you see, when you say treasury bills, when treasury bills rate goes up, is that something you should be happy about? Look,
Subscription, no, not.
yes,
Not the rate.
but you see, if the rates there are not good, people will not subscribe.
So the rates are good.
Yes. And when treasury bills just means that you are taking your money to lend the government. That's treasury bills. Yes. So if
So
the
why are people
rates,
giving their money to the government if
so you see, it's an investment. Every investment banker will want to take risk. If treasury bill rate was somewhere 15% and now it's around 30-something%, as it stands now, if you say people should go and do entrepreneurship, right? They should be entrepreneurs. Interbank lending rate is 34%. 34%. So even the 15%, I'm just trying to say the 15%, when they collect it, Ghana's problem, I bet you, will still not be solved. We wake up every morning, the people that they want us to in fact, sacrifice. You don't see any sacrifices from them. The convoy is still huge. Every day we hear scandals. Imagine as a student leader, as an SRC president, and then every morning my students hear that, oh, yes, this SRC funds is here, the SRC has said this. And I always tell them they should make sacrifice. One day they'll just ambush me and beat me up. You see, you can't tell people to sacrifice while they don't see you doing any form of sacrifice. That's why we should get it. You are not sacrificing.
basically we're not seeing any commitment from the top?
Now, who is accounting to us how much we are making from the e-levy?
Oh.
E-levy was coming. We just one day, one human being just rose up, no offense, and just says that no tolls again. We've cancelled it. There is no research or no basis by which we collect money. Like, it comes into your head, it sounds good. Let's
be fair, the GRA is taking stock of all these things. I mean, they are the mandated body to to collect our revenue, so they will be bringing out their reports every now and then.
It's sad. GRA is also sad. Look,
Another thing.
we had a scandal about them recently, isn't it? You see, a country whereby everything
Allegations are cute, but yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes. That we had. I'm not saying affirmative. Again, it was also in the papers one day that they said that they are going after Cheddar. He's not paid tax for 2 years. We have a body to collect tax. And you have sat there for 2 years, one human being hasn't paid tax. We are paying people. So I'm trying to say that even the 15%, it will still enter somebody's pocket.
Right.
You see, my father will tell you that there's like when a Ghanaian man tells you something, indeed, the actual thing happened. Either they have added some or they have deducted some. But the actual thing, it happened. Now we wake up every morning and then there are scandals here and there, and blah, blah, blah. And we don't hear any concrete evidence for the government. It's just like, oh, you just brush it. And then we should pay 15%.
Okay. Nana Jisi, let's finish our conversation with, of course, John Dramani Mahama, former Ghanaian president. I like the way I like the way he sucked your teeth. I mean, you heard him speak at that Campus Connect meeting. I don't know if you've seen the video, but he's been speaking and he's asking for honeymoon for his government. Should they come to power? It's justified.
All right, so
yes or no?
I really like it when politicians are being very realistic.
Realistic, eh?
Yes, and then, I mean, this time around, he's saying that his government is not going to make any outrageous promises. So I like it when they come down to the people and then they come to realize that, I mean, the people's minds cannot be manipulated all the time. And then they just have to go on the rail with us. So, of course, I mean, we don't expect him to, turn the whole economy upside down in the first year or something. Of course, there are supposed to be some kind of, now that we've even gone for IMF loan and all of that, it means that he has to put systems in place and all of that. So, I mean, he asking for a honeymoon movement. I think it is something that, like I said, we don't even expect him to even get or fix the whole problem in just a year. But the only thing is that we don't want it to be longer because, if it takes so much time it's also going to be a problem for the people of Ghana. So, of course, we expect him to have time to put things in place and all of that. But I'm looking at, how long it takes.
Has that given you some level of confidence about his possible government if he comes to power?
Yeah. He has been a president before. This is a president who has been in power before. And then he has tasted power. So he knows how the whole thing is like. So, a person like him, for him to say something like that, I think, we can give him the benefit of the doubt that he knows what he's saying. So let's it has given me some sort of confidence. But we just hope for the best.
I wish I can just speak to him. Mr. President.
Mr.
Former president, please.
No, once a president,
always
a
president.
You see,
no, but it is
we don't call former President
system.
We don't call former President Trump.
Oh, they do call him former President Trump. No, they don't call him.
We don't call, when you are calling him, you still
no, Hakeem, no, you do not address him as President Trump. Because it's President Biden, so former President Trump. That's the right way to address him. So former President
but he
Mahama.
Still has the president.
He still has a what? Okay,
he still has the president.
But he's the former president.
Probably he's seen into 2024 that he's coming.
Which is not a problem. But when you're addressing him and again on television, then you have to be sure that you're addressing
the right way. Because he was a former
president. Former president.
His president.
Former president
Mahama.
Thank you very much.
Let's be sincere. Ghanaians will not give you honeymoon. You know why? He's been a president before. And if the economy is broken down, as it stands now, people will have, as the confidence they have in you, to fix it within the shortest possible time.
But don't you think sometimes it's because of this quick fix approaches that
no, I'll just come into that.
No, you see, before you run for office, for example, before you run for office, you have potential people for everything. When I was running as SRC president, I knew that when I win, you'll be this. When I win, you'll be that. In the process of the campaign. And again, he, as the former president for 4 years, vice president for 4 years, he has seen a lot of people. And he knows Ghana's problems. People are having the confidence in you. And they are going to vote you into office. If I tell you that people are suffering, so I don't believe there should be any honeymoon. Because as it stands now, theoretically, he has 3 years when he wins. He doesn't have 4 years. He has 3 years because the 2028 will be an election year. And he will be preparing to give the stage to a new leader for the NDC to lead the party. So, the honeymoon, Emma.
And I think that's something we need to consider. So, like you said, technically, let's say 3 or 3.5 years. Do you think? Do you think that? Do you think that in that 3 and 3.5 years he'll be able to transform magically the economy of this country? You've had a government sitting on 8 years, almost 8 years done, and we are saying that they've plunged this country into despair.
Yeah.
And we are saying that magically someone will come and change it in the next 3 and let's even say 4 years. In the next 4 years, he's coming to change. Do you really believe in it? And he's even asking for honeymoon. Let's understand the honeymoon, like you're saying. I think all he's saying is that, look, we need to take time to look at the books.
Nkrumah had 5 years, 10 months. So let's say 6 years. He was overthrown in 66. Do you know the number of factories he built? Do you know what schools he built?
The dynamics are different now.
The dynamics are not different. It's Ghana. You see, the different dynamics is the person.
Nkrumah does not owe the IMF. It doesn't owe the IMF. It doesn't own external creditors.
External
Nkrumah does owe external creditors.
So what I'm trying to say,
you see, it's
Nkrumah
just like,
had less population.
it's just like this ruling MPP party. I mean, even though free education was a good idea, and it is one of the best policies.
it was a good idea.
But the problem is that
in a very bad way.
but the problem is that they
You
didn't
agree
take
that
their
one?
time to implement it.
Okay.
You understand? Because they rushed it.
They didn't have time.
No, they didn't rush it.
And
no,
they
you
didn't
see,
have time.
no,
And until you implement it, you will not know what the
I
challenges are.
disagree.
Okay.
You see, I disagree because how did you have time? Unless they are trying to tell me that when they were making their manifesto, they didn't have a framework to implement it.
They didn't have a framework.
If you have a framework, why are you telling me, okay, what constitutes the honeymoon? The honeymoon that we want to give politicians.
But do you think, I mean, the NDC had it in mind that at a point, the MPP will go to IMF again?
It's irrelevant.
Good. So this is
Do you know why I'm saying it's irrelevant if NDC has it in mind or not?
No, I'm asking this
NDC
because
is telling Ghanaians, and we can all see that the economy is in shambles. It's broken down, like it's now a three-legged
IMF
animal.
thinks different, actually. I was just telling him. IMF is
see?
projecting, I'll get it for you, but they're projecting some percentages in the next 4 years.
Do you know what?
To
Something
GDP.
that we haven't seen with IMF and World Bank is when you are indebted to them,
They project
they
good figures
project
for
you
you.
like, oh, this is not going well. And, what haven't they said about Russia? That Russia would, but we can see Russia giving grants and loans. What haven't we heard about IMF saying about what do you call it, China? You see the Shanghai highway they are building. So I'm just trying to say that as for the honeymoon, I don't agree.
There's no
with
time
it.
for it.
Because
There's no time for it. And you expect that for someone who has been in administration
Yes.
for quite a while,
if you are
will
married,
know what to do.
let us go to literal sense. If you are married and you are going to for honeymoon, you and your wife and you are just going to be in the room lavishing, doing no work. Yeah,
Honeymoon
So it
is a
means
thing.
that we give him honeymoon. We are saying that okay, so in the morning he just takes convoy. We can't sit down, Mr. President. No. See the problems. If God permits and he wins power, they will give you honeymoon. Based on how the economy is positioned right now, the economy will just collapse.
I think, you know what? I think I'm hypothetically speaking. I think what he meant by honeymoon is not, oh, we are going to sleep like literally we are going to sleep. Yeah. And what he's saying is that, you know what? The economy is already, we know where the economy is. What we are asking you is that don't give us pressure. We beg you, when we come, don't mount pressure on us. We just want to take our time. Look at the problem. Because right now they can't look into the books because they are not in administration.
So you realize what you are doing right now?
Hold on. I'm speaking hypothetically.
So you are making assumptions.
Yes, I am making assumptions.
So
we cannot make assumptions.
So you are saying that you think this is what the honeymoon means.
So if it is this,
so you are saying that we don't even know what's the kind of honeymoon he is requesting.
The man just spoke in passing and said that give us honeymoon.
And besides, he was even addressing a particular group of people who were demanding something from him. And then he was trying to let them understand that before he can even attend to them, he will need time to really strategize.
He didn't say he will need time.
I mean, that's how I understand the honeymoon.
No, you are saying that's what you understand. That's what you understand. I'm saying that.
Well, how do you understand that?
I don't understand it because you see.
Then you can't speak to it if you don't understand.
It was not a clear, definite term. Say, give me honeymoon.
So you are calling for an interpretation of what? I mean,
I'm
for you
not
to
calling
come
for
out.
interpretation. I'm calling for no honeymoon. We are working. When you are employed, when you are employed, I'm not sure when you are employed to this particular TV station. So, okay, I'm new, so give me honeymoon.
Sometimes you're giving probation.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're
Probation
giving...
I mean, you are
is
giving
different
grace
from
period.
honeymoon. Probation is, if
And
you
some-
don't perform, you don't... Let
And
me
sometimes
see here.
you are made to understudy certain things,
Good.
right? You're given time to
Understanding
understudy.
is different from honeymoon. Probation is different. Probation, let me see, everybody in probation. That is where you work like a donkey, because probation for 3 months, if you don't perform, you are going.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Exactly. And when you are understudying someone, it's, let's say you come fresh. Remember, President Mahama told us
Then he's
that
coming fresh.
he's not coming fresh. He said that.
Technically.
No, it's different. President Mahama said that if you've not been a president before, you can't advise me. And that's true. Because all the things that this current government said about President Mahama,
They are doing
You are
it.
doing worse.
they are doing 10 times 10 raised to the power 8.
Okay.
Because they said President Mahama had family and friends. The last time I checked, it was only Ajaba Mukhtari that was direct, that was the deputy minister, and another. But as it stands now, this current president, we can count 35
Blood related.
blood related and others. When you add it's 52. Because now something be there
Hey,
too.
52. Wow.
52 years.
You've calculated?
Oh yeah. Oh, I can take my time and go through some for you. For my second now something be
And
there
you can
too.
prove that these are his relatives.
Senior. Even
By blood.
just recently, Gabi, who is not even an appointee, said that his grandfather educated all the 100 children, so they are educated and they fit in. And the names, you can just mention them one by one. And just like
That
a
doesn't
family.
matter. If they can do the job, why not?
No, I don't have a problem with family and friends, because me, for example, I won't appoint my opponent to
Of course.
be my cabinet. But the point is that if you say somebody was running the family and friends government, you don't repeat it. You understand? You say there are scandals and all those, you don't repeat it. You say you couldn't solve Galamsey. Where is Galamsey right now? Now when you go to TikTok, people will be doing Galamsey and they'll video and put it there. So if I accuse you that you're not even working well, you don't even dress well, and I come and I do the same thing, I'm just a coward.
But I don't think it's because of the extravagant promises that he made. That is letting
saying?
them perform
Who's
less.
saying?
Yes.
saying?
And this is the situation that this one is being very
Now,
realistic with us.
What's even extravagant? You see, if you don't even perform, don't spoil what you came to meet. That is it. If you don't add new things to it, don't spoil the existing ones. You see, if you are saying that people didn't do well, don't worsen it. But now it is worse. You said that projects were abandoned. No problem. Your own MPP projects that Kufuor left have not been attended to.
Wow.
So what are we saying?
So basically, no honeymoon for anybody who
Senior, as we are
assumes power.
here-
But I mean, looking at the posture of former President John Dramani Mahama, he has said countlessly. I don't know how you feel about it, but he has said on a few platforms that he's not going to make extravagant promises, and that he's seen where the economy is. He's been in power before, and he's not going to make promises. He's just assuring us that when he comes, he's just going to work and do his best.
Yes, I agree
Does
with
that help? Does that help?
Yeah, I agree. You see,
You don't think we should give a new person an opportunity?
who is the new person?
Oh, they're new people.
Mention. Me, I don't know. Mention.
Oh, you don't know. You don't. Afro-Fantor is there. New forces
see-
coming. Yeah, they are independent
You
candidates
take
as
this
well.
bottle, remove the label, and come and show what kind of water is this. That's what Afro-Fantor is doing.
What? So it's current government with a different label.
It's not the current government too. The same government with a different label.
That's not fair.
Oh, when we went to the by-election we did in is it Kwehu? No, the one in the Ashanti region. We had the now Kweku two names. One symbol is the whole. One is, you see, it's just like you. I don't know how to explain it. You were a trade minister in the government and you were on a TV show and they asked you that, why weren't you complaining? And I said, because I was part of it. So it means that a quarter of the budget.
No, but I mean, like MFI would say, which I sort of agree, is that where he was, he couldn't have brought about some drastic change because
That
he
was
was
a
not.
cowardly
It was not.
attitude.
It wasn't. No, but you're working within a government. You understand?
So,
you don't
leave.
the major.
In the two terms,
How
he
would
was
you?
in government.
How do you solve the
Do you
problem
remember
if you leave?
the former Tanzania president?
So I'm coming on. You see, you're asking you how will you solve if you leave, and if you stay inside and you are there, country no broke, we stay inside. Means you're part of the problem. There's something that President Rollins said. He said either you are part of the problem, or you are part of the solution. So if he's not part of the solution, he's part of the problem because he was there as a trade minister. We didn't see anything.
Well, he's achieved quite a number of things as a trade minister. So he's saying
What
that.
did he do? What did he do?
Come on. So he's saying that
Yeah,
who gets the this thing for you? He's put it on his
Establishment of
platform.
after.
Yeah, there's of course the
Is it his
major
money?
one will be after. Sorry, no, it's not his money, but we are saying
But
that.
they lobbied for the
We
headquarters.
all
to be
go
headquartered in
to
Ghana.
AU and we go and lobby and it comes. All AU's money they set it here and you are now.
But we give you credit. We give you credit for it for being able to
So
lobby.
you see,
That's
Ghanaians
that's
say,
something.
Ghanaians say they will drill us like this, left and right, left. Ghanaians, because we celebrate things that should not be celebrated. Yesterday I saw some group of people putting a second batch of IMF bailouts and they are happy. I'm like, I don't move their
Hakeem,
So the same way, if you were there after came, it's not your money, it's not Ghana's money. What has after basically added? Because let's be sincere, people's businesses are collapsing. The Ghanaian cedi is depreciating. So if you used to have
Is it because of after?
no, I'm trying to say that it's already depreciating. So even the after is not even benefiting you.
no, but after it's not just dependent on Alan's achievement.
no,
And,
depreciation
What
and
I'm trying to say is
or
that-
even
no.
bringing it into the country.
What I'm trying to
It's
say is that
it's a holistic thing. It's the
it is
entire continent.
holistic, I agree.
The entire continent. So
the fact that the thing is in your country doesn't mean it's putting money
Agreed,
in your
agreed,
pockets. That's what I'm
agreed.
trying to say.
agreed. It comes with
see,
benefits though, but
The very simple understanding of what do you call it, inflation and all these things is a common dewa. That's
True.
it. So I'm trying to say that have the after increase your salary.
Oh no, but that one alone cannot be limited. That's
so
why we
you
have
are
various
telling me that that was his
ministries.
achievement, and based on that we should make him a president.
That's not, we're not saying that's one of his achievements. We didn't say that's his
No,
entire
you are like, I
achievement.
mean, he's part of the
Basically-
government, and then I mean, he was
So
he was
basically-
part of the
what
people.
did
So
he-
basically, going to 2020.
Yes, and then he has mentioned what were some of the things
Go-
that he
go-
did.
He just mentioned after. That's what I'm saying. Aside after.
basically going to the elections December 7th. Who personally? I mean, you can't tell who you're voting.
Oh, man, I
Everybody
can
say-
tell. I can
Oh, you can.
Yeah, I can.
Who's
Oh,
Why
I
you
can.
put- why-
I can tell you about 18 reasons why I vote for the person. Basically.
where are you putting your money?
Oh, me, I vote for President Mahama. Let me see.
It's the fact that you are still.
And then this is the person that you don't believe in the honeymoon.
I don't believe in the honeymoon. You see,
No, but I totally get him. I mean, he doesn't believe in the honeymoon. He
I
thinks
don't
that
want
but
you
they're still
come and work. Come and work.
you can do the
Get
work.
the power
But
and
I'll
come and
vote for
work.
President
Understood.
Mahama. I have the reason. Look,
Nana Jesse, who are you putting your money on?
It's a secret ballot.
Very well.
anyway, you see, when they say it's a secret ballot like this, if they are going to follow the vote for
No.
economy.
Anyways, guys, well, that's all time will afford us. Thank you very much, Akeem. Thank you, Nana Jesse. So you were mentioning the game tonight. Are you going to watch it?
Is a prophet prophesying?
So sorry.
I just want to. Is
He
the prophet
said
prophesying?
we've made him hungry, so angry, so Ghana is going to lose.
Ghana is going to lose.
That's what he said.
No, I didn't hear
We've
that.
made him angry.
So when should we go and welcome
because
them?
people lambasted him after Ghana, I mean, equalized with Egypt.
But are we not even a funny country? We play with everything. Anyway,
Prophet of the most, Hakeem.
anyway.
Any last message to your people?
Which other people?
I don't know whether your incoming government or your constituents, your members. You know, young people in Ghana. Yes.
Anyway, you
The
know,
youth.
I believe that young people should be discerning. You see, young people should be discerning. As we are here, I believe that anything that's going to happen when politicians come to campaign to them, they should be able to decipher the thing. But the ultimate, when they bring money, I beg you, collect it. Money is very important to collect the money and vote against them.
Is that not why we're in this crisis?
No, you see, we are in a crisis because when they give them the money lure them. No, this one, collect the money and vote against them. Okay. These are two different things. If you don't collect the money, they will still go and give it to somebody else.
Have you seen people holding things and swearing by it?
See, it won't go anywhere. Look, I'm telling you. Assuming, let's say,
you sure?
Assuming, let's say, the money is not coming from a right source. Maybe it was money that's bribery, or let's say corrupt money, and you give it to me, and I swear on it. Uncle baby, senior.
What if it's coming from a genuine source? It's my own money. I'm saying vote for me and swear by this.
The swearing that they are doing, it won't go anywhere. Collect it, and decide.
You winning power, you are still going to steal. So what is wrong with it if I'm also taking money and then I don't vote for you?
Interesting.
No. So you agree that they should still?
No, I'm not saying I agree to this stealing, but then I'm trying to, like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
About people robbing Peter, I don't know about it. I just want to find out.
But they are paying Paul nonetheless.
No.
Anyways, as you see.
All right, so I still call for the constitutional amendment because it being a representative government. I still think that we still call for the constitutional amendment, that the government should look at the constitution holistically and then amend certain part of the constitution. And also, I want to say thank you to my Ignite Youth Ghana family, to Naval Captain Buta, and then also to Dr. Andrew Asamoah of ANC More, and to my brother Sly, who have been supporting my programs and all of that.
Oh, thank you very much, Nana, Jesse, and you, Hakeem. Wishing you all the best and a great week. Hopefully we can celebrate tonight when the Blackstars win their game.
But I'll go to Kutuka to welcome them. Welcome, Ghana.
Yeah, not positive at all, but it's all good. Anyway, so a young man is in contention to break the Guinness World Record for the longest reading, and he joins me on the block. Stay.